This documentary is about the case of Preston Davey, a 13-month-old boy whose death led to a major criminal investigation in England. The case received national attention because it involved a child who had been placed with prospective adoptive parents, and because of the evidence later presented in court. Everything in this documentary is based on publicly reported information, court proceedings, police statements, and reporting from established news organizations. The goal is to explain what happened, how investigators built the case, what the court heard, and what happened after the verdict. Preston Davey was born in June 2022. Shortly after he was born, he entered foster care through Oldham Castle. According to evidence presented during the trial, he spent the first months of his life with experienced foster carers. Witnesses described him as healthy and happy baby. In early 2023, Jamie Varley and John McGowan were approved as prospective adoptive parents. Preston gradually moved into their home during the spring of 2023. The placement was accepted to become permanent after the adoption process was completed. Instead, only a few months later, everything changed. On 27 July 2023, emergency services became involved after Preston became unresponsive at home. He was taken to Blackpool Victoria Hospital, where doctors tried to save his life. Despite their efforts, Preston died. At first, investigators were told that the child had accidentally drowned in a bath. Whenever a child died unexpectedly, police and medical professionals carry out a detailed investigation to determine exactly what happened. As doctors examined Preston, they found evidence that did not match the original explanation. That discovery changed the direction of the investigation. Police opened a major investigation. Detectives collected medical records, interviewed witnesses, searched the home, and examined electronic devices. Medical specialists carried out a post-mortem examination. According to the evidence presented in court, the medical findings did not support accidental drowning. Experts also identified injuries that they say had occurred over a period of time rather than during one single event. Investigators work with forensic experts, doctors, and digital specialists to understand what happened during Preston's final months. The investigation continued for many months before charges were brought. During the investigation, police recovered digital material from electronic devices. The prosecution later presented this material as part of its case during the trial. The jury also heard detailed medical evidence from expert witnesses. Doctors explained their findings and described why they believed the injuries and the cause of death were not consistent with an accident. The prosecution argued that the medical evidence, forensic evidence, digital evidence, and witness testimony all supported the same conclusion. The defense challenged part of the prosecution's case, as is normal during a criminal trial. It was then the jury's responsibility to consider all of the evidence before reaching a verdict. It was heard at Preston Crown Court. The trial lasted several weeks. The jury heard evidence from police officers, forensic specialists, doctors, healthcare professionals, and other witnesses. Jamie Varley denied the allegation against him. John McGowan also denied the charge he faced. The court carefully examined the timeline, medical findings, digital evidence, and witness testimony before the case was handed to the jury. After considering all of the evidence, the jury reached its decision. The jury found Jamie Valley guilty of murdering Preston Davey. He was also convicted of other serious offenses presented during the trial. John McGowan was found guilty of causing or allowing the death of a child cruelty, and additional offenses presented by the prosecution. These verdicts were based on the evidence heard in court over the course of the trial. At the sentencing hearing, the judge described the offenses as extremely serious. Jamie Valley received a whole life order. Under English law, this means he will never be eligible to apply for parole. John McGowan received a lengthy prison sentence for the offenses of which he was convicted. With the sentences imposed, the criminal proceeding came to an end. Although the criminal case was finished, public discussion continued. Attention turned to the safeguarding system and whether opportunities had existed to identify concern earlier. Several organizations reviewed the case to understand how different agencies interact during the months before Preston's death. These reviews are separate from the criminal convictions. Their purpose is to identify lessons that may improve child protection in future cases. The death of Preston led to a lengthy police investigation, a detailed criminal trial, and significant public attention. The court heard evidence from medical experts, investigators, forensic specialists, and witnesses before the jury reached its verdict. The criminal case has now concluded, but safeguarding reviews continue to examine whether improvements can be made to better protect vulnerable children. The case remains an important reminder of the role played by investigators, healthcare professionals, social services, and the courts when determining the truth in the most serious criminal investigation. This documentary is based on verified public information, and the finding presented in court, it does not include speculation or unproven allegations beyond the official evidence and verdict. Thank you.